Man, that was a rough night. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Selfish people suck. Or Patrick's little thing. Dad, I love you more than anything. In, I, how do you spell it again? I, N, E, I think it was Thang. It was cute, yeah, because he went to school at a bilingual school in Phoenix with Spanish, and he was like his pops. I grew up in a bilingual school with Spanish and English speakers, so I spelt phonetically, and they thought I had a learning disability. No, I was just connecting to the community, and not a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are, they're pretty much, do it this way. No, it must be done this way. And when you're connecting to the whole group and you love the whole group, you do things differently. I just got through watching Max's mom, the video we made a year ago, in black and white, with Max Muniz's mommy, And I'm like, well, okay. Well, yeah, I was thinking a lot that way this morning too. But what is, I watched the Lex Luger cartoon thing because that's a lot of the stuff that my Katie's really into, and that's part of her indoctrination, right? And so that has a personal effect on me, like when they murdered Michelle, and when Justin died from cancer, and Teresa's sickness, and my mom dying from cancer, and it has a personal effect on me that, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I'm living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer, and these people are murdering my family because they refuse to observe, understand, and obey natural laws given to us by an infinite essence through an eternal existence through holy covenants. And that's very disturbing. It's particularly disturbing. And we're obviously still in genocidal operations because there's still people, America reads the Bible. What about him? You're like, oh, son of a fucking bitch. I'm tired. Right? And guys, I know what it's like to be like Joseph and Daniel. Okay, most of you don't. Okay. The Count of Monte Cristo, he's innocent, and he's a philanthropist doing things irrationally. And we've all been in that position because we were denied. You're born an innocent babe, indoctrinated, institutionalized, and incarcerated, and it's hard for the messages to get through because you have Muhammad and Abraham and Jesus and everybody screaming in your head, no, it's wrong to kill an innocent baby to send you to a magic place you invent in your head, After Taft Benson, Spencer J. Kimball, right? But no one listens to the 3-year-olds. The 3-year-old's right. He's a genius, right? And it's obvious no one was listening to the 3-year-old. Judy Krishnamurti was listening to the 3-year-old. Yes, Ditiro Suzuki was listening to the 3-year-old because they were talking to the 3-year-old. Okay, the kid's born where? So, he's watching Scooby-Doo. He's watching Underdog. He's being indoctrinated by the television set. J-Lo's butt. Gosh darn you, Jennifer Lynn Lopez, If Janet wants to live the Lord's Prayer, we all need to hang out at a barbecue and wherever I end up, You guys will meet Patrick. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get everybody I can to the kingdom of heaven today. I'm not waiting till tomorrow. I don't wait till tomorrow. I'm not doing that whole. They did the whole timetable in the book of Daniel, and that was completed and done immaculately by January 22nd, 2013. That shows you how much corporations believe in religion. It shows you how much XI and the little guy. And there's assholes in South Korea too. Well, because if people are doing things for money, they're not innocent. Okay. I tell everybody in town, you render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and render unto God's what is God's. And play constantly, especially, and say it out loud. Let your technology know. I want to live the Lord's Prayer. I want to inherit the Lord's Prayer. It's perfect deliverance from evil. I want to sustain it with the faith of David and the humble wisdom of Solomon. And yes, I tell people that everywhere I go all the time, right? And the people monitoring us and asking us for money and calling it a law are insane. And I've had them mock me. The one little girl that was at NMSU that was a security person at Walmart. When I talked to her at Olay, and then when I went and she was smarter than me, and she had a degree, and she had a job in security at Walmart, and you're a loser, you don't even have a job. And yeah, hear that, Jesus? You don't have an extortion gig. You're not Heidi Fleiss. You're not Glasheen Maxwell, Jesus. You have no pull, no influence. You're not Lex Luthor. You have everything they want. Power, money. That's not true. Contrary to popular opinion, android evolution builders with nanotechnologies, we all don't want money and delusions of power. Most of us that are sane and rational want to love and be loved in return. You never heard Nat King Cole at your house? There was a boy. Reminds me of Judy Krishnamurti so much. Very strange, enchanted boy. Though he talked of many things, fools and kings, this is what he said to me. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. But love, it still doesn't explain it properly. Henry David Thoreau, give me truth. Okay, you must establish the understanding of truth first. And with truth, you understand your existence and what's needed for your existence, and then faithful love follows, right? You must have truth first, right? We still are on a prison colony through the minds of the psychotics that require that require abuse through their invented perceptions of laws, and require, like Al G said, they want they rent until I pay it, and stuff. And he's trying to, you try to get off Earth, but they won't let you. And it's like, no, you can't sustain a body to worship God through a mind off of planet Earth right now. Okay? You can't do that. You can't do it on Venus. You can't do it on Mercury. You can't do it on Mars. You can't do it on, Venus, if you will. That's just people gazing at the stars and getting it all wrong, like Taro Suzuki talks about, and Sun Yat-sen also. Sun Yat-sen was talking to Jesus because more people, were reciting the Lord's Prayer every day, globally, which is deliverance from evil, than anybody was saying anything like that in all of China every day. So Sun Yat-sen, through relative forms of communication, said that Obi-Wan there is our greatest hope, right? Because he's the line of Confucius, and the line of Confucius has been crystallized and turned into an indoctrination, institutionalization of mass incarceration. Right? And there was still hope in Christianity, because there was a lot of Christians that tried to get off the grid and live, but the institutions made them crazy, like the communes near Fresno and the Amish, churning butter, because they turned Jesus into the Roman egotistical possessive pronoun first person ego perception, instead of understand that Jesus is talking about even though it's in the Bible, that Jesus is talking about an omniscient, omnipotent, infinite essence that we eternally live through holy covenants. It's in the Bible. And you're like, guys, it's in the Bible. How do they fuck it? Because it's more repetitive that the Romans wrote in their possessive pronoun, first person, possessive pronoun, but it says in Genesis he's not. And everybody in all the Old Testament and the New Testament that says, God is a possessive pronoun, first person, and I are baboon, and I'm evolving to the greatest android that will see it all. And you're like, oh, Lex Luthor me that, and Superman me this. That ain't them dogs' real voices, right? So it's frustrating. It's very frustrating, but, I'm on the case. But, if someone you think is helping you be healthy, and they're making millions and billions of dollars and traveling the world to do so. They're no different than Donald John Trump. Even if they're in Congress saying we need to end the war, and the other one saying we need to, you're still indoctrinating, you're still institutionalizing, and you're still incarcerating. Okay, guys, when you're living the Lord's Prayer, you don't indoctrinate, you don't institutionalize, and you don't incarcerate, right? Born free because life is worth living, right? And so when you get people, it's really difficult, okay, to behave like Hitler and the Himmlers when you're globally understanding the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer. That's really hard to do. It's really hard to get the resources together, which is human beings that will manipulate matter, to get log trucks and then get steel trucks and then go and find the gold in the bottom of the gulch because the gold's more valuable than your child's life, that the ball that you just aced to the beast, right? So it's very difficult to get city girls just seem to find out early how to open doors with just a smile. Rich old man, she won't have to worry. Dress up all in lace and go and smile. So to get on your back and take everybody's rocks, and everybody says the rocks are more valuable than the child that comes out of the lady on her back, right? It's insane, right? Well, I was watching some of Bandolero last night, right? And in the movie, because we're insane, you're like rooting for Raquel Welch to end up with the double murderer that ripped off the bank that tried to pay off the George Kennedy. And you're like, well, she should like George Kennedy. He's a nice guy. Is he standing up for the Lord's Prayer? Okay, none of them are, including her. Right? There you are, lost in the shadows, searching for someone to set you free from New York City. And where did all those yesterdays go? When you still believe life could really be like a Broadway show. You were the star. And do you really think the T-Wolves are going to make it through the next round of the playoffs? No, I don't. No, not with Anthony Edwards hurt and the other guys hurt and stuff like that. And no one hurt on San Antonio. And I think San Antonio's probably going to win 4 games in a row and go to the next round. That's the most likely case scenario, given the attrition circumstances of the incessive compulsive, we need more money for the Shark Tank circus gimmick that they're doing. Right? Now, if they played more of a college type schedule, about 30 games a year, and spread them out 2 a week like they do in college, and then got to the playoffs and stuff, it might be a radically different situation, especially for teams that have really good big guys. Okay. But it takes its toll on guards, too, because an average guard in the NBA runs 4 miles a night, okay, when he's in there the whole game, right? And he's running his ass off, And the funny thing is when they said that, I remember when DJ had the game of his life so far when he was playing against, who was it against? I think it was against Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals. And he just tore up in the first quarter, and Fred played the whole second quarter, I think, because Dennis was exhausted. I wasn't like that. I was unique. It was 48 minutes, 40 minutes. The longest I ever played was 40. Well, we used to play overtime games. Yeah, that's true. I didn't get as tired as everybody else did, but that's my genetics and my diet my mom put me on, but mostly it's my genetics because of all the psychological, physiological, and emotional abuse that they put me through, and I'm able to go through remission through chemical poisoning that causes cancer cells to reproduce rapidly, more efficiently, and faster than just about anybody that these assholes study like they're a rat in a lab, and then there's no fairer. He has powers that other people just give him, and they're not worthy of, and you're mass murdering them off the face of the planet, so I won't have those powers, and you'll have those powers. Is it an evil petting zoo? I didn't go to 7 years of evil school to be called Mr. Thank you very much. Right. Oh, that's funny. You need more money, asshole? And so, want to talk about having more money? You don't want to talk about the little girls that were killed because no one would pay money to rape them at the beginning of the COVID protocols? I don't like to talk about that either. That makes me very upset. That's how they changed the brain activity around here to where it wasn't quite so, where I could think in a way that wouldn't get them killed with their technology. Yeah. Well, that was really brave of them, wasn't it? Wow, I want to grow up and work for NASA, ground control to Major Tom, right? So it's horrible. And then you got to realize, Christine Helm's in business with those people. Other propaganda artists selling, food from Dunkin' Donuts and yup, nope, yep, nope, yup. Everybody has choices, right? Okay, I'd stand up for the Lord's Prayer and I would do it too, sweet bitch. Because artificial general intelligence and quantum computing does not think like me. It's not compassion. It's not the Quran, in the name of the Lord, the all compassionate and all merciful. Artificial general intelligence and quantum computing was made by people that will kill people to win a chess game. Yeah, they were right. They'd agree, but it's them they know, not me. So there's a way, and I know I have to go. They're insane. Okay. They will walk 5,000 people off that chessboard just to win the fucking chessboard game and be the last MFer standing. And his queen's the most evil bitch on the planet. She can do anything. You're like, what? They're crazy. Can you submit to living the Lord's Prayer and love the faithful man who has the courage of kindness to stop Yusuf Islam's ego from thinking he's a Muslim? Okay. That'll be $999, but shipping is free. You got to undealdash.com. Right. Oh, its regular prices is $400 million. Oh, we're making the little transistor thingies, the little whatever they calls them. Okay. It's the greatest machine ever made by man. Yeah, it's it's IBM Watson. And help us, Gemini. Is the plant, oh, come on, everybody in their right mind, especially that kid that age, knows the plant is leaning towards the sun in the window. That's why I always keep the curtains open. Okay, my plant, see it? It's reaching for the light. Yeah, that's what it does, right? Even if I had it right up next to the thing, it would still do the same thing. It would still, like the roses out front, the flowers out front, sticking out under the bottom and onto the sidewalk. I was like, that's not going to be real comfortable. It gets shade from the big old partners, the pecan trees. It's, oh, okay, you'll be all right. Yeah, I guess you know what you're doing. Sometimes it's just the way nature goes because things are aggressive. Like Suzuki always tells me, you think this is a genocide kill zone, okay, run by Halliburton, Northrop Grumman, and you have to work with this stuff, and see it, pull it, cut it, and do all that stuff, which reminds me I got to cut some more stuff tomorrow and stuff. But he goes, because everything grows angry, because this is a desert, and they're manipulating the water, and a lot of the water that's in the dam is stagnant. The water that does this is not circulating well. It's not doing this well. It's like a drunk is running the ecosystem, and the ecosystem is like an angry drunk. And, yeah, it's true, I get it. So the dam near Las Vegas, that's why I had Selma Hayek and James West things. I mean, it's hard when they screw with your head and you haven't had sex or affection. And even when I did have sex or last time I had sex or affection, Amy was having to have sex with me to convince me that I got her pregnant with Crumb 3 months after the fact. And that's not fun, right? And it was hard on her, and it was hard. The baby jumped up and crawled into the side, and what's going on in here? He freaked out because my DNA is far superior to the biological father's. And we had that same problem with Kate. She wanted me to induce the pregnancy, and I was like, well, yeah, that's great if it's Howard Wolowitz's baby with Howard Wolowitz's wife. But when it's with a guy who's a leg lifter at a bar who follows the Roman crowd with, King David's DNA coming in, it's like, it's not a good idea. And I got upset because Kate got a knot in her umbilical cord. When she had me do that with Noah's umbilical cord went around his neck. Okay. Both babies were in distress in delivery because she wanted me to have sex for her to induce it, because she read medical advice from professionals like Andrew Huberman and all the people that are giving you medical professional advice. Be mindful. Health matters, right? You're not healthy. You're not applying the physics of the Lord's Prayer, you're still indoctrinated through institutionalization of incarceration. You want to go put on a show about the people that were mass murdered at Walmart in El Paso for money? And you're no different than Donald John Trump and the people he's mass murdering in Iran that want to be in power of the materials to build cell phones to indoctrinate, institutionalize, and incarcerate. Okay, I am the name of the Lord, the all-compassionate, all-merciful. As it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. So Jesus is talking about past, present, and future operate at the same time. And he's talking about the spirit of himself. That's why the guy at Fort Huachuca said my religious beliefs were selfish during the apocalypse. Okay, I have to remain all compassionate and all merciful, even in these horrible, I'm still having chemical poisoning that reacts to my chemical poisoning that makes my body survive this. It's very difficult, especially with emotional abuse through the Wi-Fi, with them using make-believe rules of engagement they call laws to try to circumvent natural laws, and I'm the living embodiment of the understanding of natural laws to deliver us from evil. So it's very difficult, and what they don't understand is the way the technology will work is like you crying over this clay, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So most of these people that are manipulating other people with technology, it would be quite simple for robotics to exterminate you, so it could take control over the quantum computing and then the world communications, and then we use it to live the Lord's Prayer. Wouldn't it be better if you do it yourself instead of the robot having to kill you to take over your computer operations to show the world Earl exists and didn't get run over by the bar in the parking lot of a Best Buy by the CIA and NASA in Las Cruces, New Mexico on Loma, January 22nd, 2013. Cuckoo, cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson, stroll around the grounds until you feel at home, right? And that's Amy. That's why I didn't go back or even think about having a sexual relationship with April Bryan and her mother. Okay, Amy's right. Well, when you, after the fact and you've been tortured sexually your whole life by a bunch of jealous perverts, you tell yourself, God, I should have gone back there. I didn't get to enjoy sex at all. I should have had sex with Vicky Dunlap. I should have had sex with Marissa Bradley. I would have had sex with Ursula Castro, and then I probably would have had sex with Yvonne Rodriguez. I would have been the biggest dog in the history of. I would have had sex with Lori Menderman. I would have had sex with everybody that I was sexually interested into. I would have had sex with Rita Lucero more than twice on Sunday. And then what happened? And then I would have had sex with Petty Pants. And then Tella would try to bite her nipple off, and I'd have sex with Tella too, because I would think with my dick, and I would be an asshole like all of you. I want to see the Epstein files. I don't. I just want to forgive debt and trespass. Love one, eternal, faithful face. Been down one time, been down two times. Never going back again. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. She broke down and let me in. And I didn't. I've been able to control my dick. It's Rockefeller with Hinckley. You turned down more sex in junior high than that man got offered his whole life. And it makes sense. More women would want to have sex with a guy like King David that saves us all from the virtual presence of the mind manipulation with money from people like O'Leary and Tap Benson. And you see what I'm saying? I was telling Dad about that the other night. I said, Dad, these two kids are trying to do their passion in business, right? The one lady feels, empathy for them and gives them her phone number, right? The O'Leary guy, after they leave, goes, they're two of the nicest slugs I've ever met. And she laughs. And these people are like, we got her phone number. The man called you slugs. And she laughed, but you got her phone number. She might help you make more money. That's like, those two fucking sluts are the nicest fucking sluts I've ever met. I agree. I gave them my phone number. I'd like to make money off of them being sluts since I'm one too. But that's the essential of it. It's like, that's just horrible. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus lays down his sweet head. I love thee, Lord Jesus. That's Mary and Ralph's boy, right? On the lap of Mary Ann in a Ford pickup truck the first memory he has is billboards of Kevin O'Leary calling people slugs and the other lady laughing about it because we all need money to live, right? It's horrible, right? If Alex Rodriguez has access to these videos and can't figure out how to love better than Lil Wayne thinks he wants to fuck the girl who's allegedly dying from AIDS but not dying in AIDS in the video to make money because we need money to fuck to live, no, that's not true, right? Then he really doesn't love Ella Bella and Tasha Nasha. I do. And him he does. And Max does. Okay. They're fun. I like those two. They're funny. Yeah. They're cute. They're all dumb. They're all dumb as a box of rocks. Apparently, in Max's mom a year ago, she's not as dumb a box of rocks as you think. Why isn't she standing up for the Lord's Prayer? I've told you guys this and told you guys this and told you guys this. I will never understand why you didn't stand up for the Lord's Prayer with me January 20, 2013, and I'm not required to understand. But you guys might want to. Well, because I'm the gracious good shepherd who saves all your children from your ego, and you're still trapped in your ego, and there is no spoon. You as a human being, why don't you change? You can't love your children or you'd end all wars. How do you end all wars? Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Why does Earl have to do it for you? Why do you think artificial general intelligence and quantum computing has a greater aspect of control over your life than yourself? It doesn't make any sense. I understand that you're insane. And I understand I can't save Saul from committing suicide because of the insanity you guys inflicted on him. And then you go look to Pope Francis to get it. No, he's got lots of money to pay off people that sexually abuse children that are compromised by economics. But I don't. No, I don't. But I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make your heart feel something that it won't, right? That was one of Marianne's favorite songs before she passed away. She also liked Let's Give Him Something to Talk About. Yeah, it's my Mary Poop. Yeah, she's cute. Natalie would have completely adored Mary Poop. So would Emily and so would Kate. Yeah, they would love Grandma Murphy. She's so spunky. She's fun. She's so smart. She's an anti-bully. Anybody tries to pick on homosexuals or anything like that, Grandma lets them have it. she's the best. She's good. Grandpa and her are different. It's the way we were. He has a self-righteous God that's constantly watching him to make him act a certain way and to follow the crowd. You're Irish. That's all you need. Grandma didn't have that. She was raised by a man that, in order to justify his existence to the devil, killed more people for the devil than just about any guy most of you know. And everybody says, that was your grandpa. Yeah, my grandpa was a product of your grandpa. They'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, Parsons. Now go build technology to keep his money powerful. Okay. Come back when you grow up, girl. Still got them pigtails in your hair and give me silly looks with a childish stare. Yeah, I get that a lot. Okay, peace out, man.